Hi, and welcome to the Highland Senior Phase Open Evening College Experience. Tonight we'll be joined by various colleagues from UHI and our partnership, and I will kick off. My name's Tim Walters, Promotions Officer at Inverness College, and I will be sharing PowerPoint this evening, video, etc. We hope the technology works with us this evening. My backdrop is not available. My colleagues all have corporate backdrops and told me to paint my bedroom. It wasn't happening. So without further ado, we'll get into the PowerPoint slides, and we will promise not to try and kill you death by PowerPoint this evening. Okay. So if I can just have a nod from colleagues that were on the welcome page on PowerPoint. Excellent. So like I've said, welcome to the Highland Senior Phase College Experience Open Evening. The schedule for the evening is there with you. What is Highland Senior Phase? We're going to have a look at the courses and opportunities, which are fantastic. And we'll walk you through a new web resource and page that we've got. We'll have a short video on SCQF levels. We're then going to move on to some of my colleagues and look at the time at college. What will it actually be like to study at college? What is that experience? What support is in place? What's it look like? What's it feel like? And then we'll go through some of the details of how to apply and walk you through that. And we'll also look at progression and next steps. Where would studying at Highland Senior Phase lead you to in further education or potentially industry and careers? And we'll finish up with a question and answer session. We'll also, if you want to put questions into the chat on YouTube, we will have somebody looking at those and feeding them through. We may answer as we're going through or save them for that Q&A session toward the end. So I just want to introduce our speakers for the evening. We've got a great group of people and experts on the curriculum. There's myself and Louise from Inverness College representing this evening, Sophie from North Highland College, Adam and Hecky who are joining us from West Highland College, and we are literally streaming from across the Highlands this evening. And we've also got Kathleen Moran joining us virtually later on, who's the schools recruitment officer for UHI. So what is Highland Senior Phase and how does it work? People may be more familiar with the term schools programme. What we probably need to look at first is what is UHI, the University of Highlands and Islands, and then move on to HSP. So we have a fairly standardised sort of rapport for this, and I'm just going to share it with you. The University of Highlands and Islands is a partnership of 13 colleges and research institutes across Scotland, and it is the newest university. It's also 10 years old. In February, we've just turned 10 years old, which is fantastic. As the UK's leading tertiary education provider, we deliver both further education and higher education courses, and that makes us different from traditional institutes. Through an innovative approach to teaching and learning, and some of the best online learning technologies, we offer our students the complete learner journey, where they have a choice and flexibility to study from access level right through to PhD. And we'll come back to that when we look at SCQF levels later. UHI is at the heart of the community, working closely with businesses and stakeholders. Our curriculum and research capacity is designed to meet the ever-evolving needs of industry and support the strengths and ambitions of the Highland region. Through a personalised approach, we help our students discover a path which is right for them, provide each individual with a combination of qualification and job-ready skills to succeed in the workplace or progress into further learning. So that's UHI. It's a large outfit and partnership of 13 colleges. HSP is a collaboration between Inverness College UHI, North Highland College UHI and West Highland College. And we formed that unique partnership with Highland Council and high schools across the region to offer a wide range of courses to pupils who are moving into senior phase, which is S4 to S6. Our courses are designed to address the varying learning styles of our young people and support both academic and practical progression to enhance the learning options available in school, to widen that programme for young people across the Highlands. This tri-college collaboration allows pupils to remain in school whilst also studying at college to gain those additional qualifications and a wider educational experience. That's the spiel, folks. And what we want to do now is move on to what are our courses, what are our opportunities offered through this collaboration of the three colleges. And I think the best way to do that, myself and Louise are going to look at the website together and basically talk through it and look at some points of interest, play some videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy that and it'll be informative, maybe even inspiring. I'm going to come off share. So bear with me while I come back onto the website, please. Okay, this may take a moment, folks. Just bear with me. We'll be getting to see various things now. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so this is the Highland Senior Phase website. It's a new resource that's just been launched. You'll be able to link to it from schools pages. And I think we'll kick off. There's the description on the top of the page. The link will be going into the chat. And what I'd like to do is I would like to actually play the first video for you. I'm just going to check that I've shared in the right format. Just let me know, guys, if you can hear the sound on this. Nodding heads.
It helps me gain unconditional offers to
Tim, I think you're going to need to restart that. Just while Tim's redoing the settings there, video. Just need to alter the sound quality of that. Just important to note at this point that we know many of you are joining us today from across the Highlands who perhaps senior phase students or students who are moving into senior phase. We know at this point of time that you're probably looking at your option choice forms. Parents, guardians, you're probably helping your young people make decisions about courses that they are going to choose and their options coming up. So one of the things that we wanted to do with the Highland Senior Phase website is to give you a little flavour of what is available to you in terms of subject choice. We know it's quite a difficult decision to make choices on your options form. So the site gives you a little bit of a flavour of some of the courses that we have on offer and experiences from our young people who have engaged with us in the past. There's insight from employers who have benefited from students working with them. And we have a wide range of insight, including some sample lessons for you to look at. So if you want to have a little taste of what studying at college might look like, you can have a look at the site and see what a typical lesson might look like if you're going to learn. So Tim,
I think we're getting to queue on that. We'll try again here, folks. Apologies, it may have been on the wrong setting. Louise, if you can let me know whether this is good enough or not. Here we go.
We welcome everybody and want to give everybody an opportunity to learn.
It helped me gain unconditional offers to university because it set me apart from my competitors.
You'll have support from a lecturer as and when required.
I love the flexibility. I can easily access all my learning and all of my work.
We will nurture you, we will help you on that journey through.
You settle in really quickly. It's a really good experience.
Within all our programmes, you'll develop key industry skills, practical skills and theoretical knowledge.
This course has definitely helped me with my uni applications.
You are being taught by industry experts.
This course has helped me decide on which university course I want to pick and also got the qualifications needed to get in.
You will never get bored and you will never stop learning.
It helps you gain your confidence to do things on your own.
So any questions, please get in touch and look forward to seeing you.
Okay, so that's the first up on the actual HSP page, which I hope you will go and visit over the coming days and weeks, and it will help you in that decision-making process. As you scroll down the page, if you're not sure what to study, that takes you through to various videos on the next page, which I will share with you now. Takes you through to not sure what to study, and I think the video will come up, it'll be sharing in a moment. It just takes time, and I'll play that for you. What we're looking for in young people that come and join us. but you can also go down and pick up on a few inspirational videos. It's a growing resource. We will be putting more on, and it comes under areas such as create, care, discover, etc. And we'll let you, that's a great thing to go and have a look at to get some ideas from our lecturers and experts in those fields and subjects. I'm just going to try playing this now. What are we looking for?
Main areas that are the main skill sets that we would look for is determination.
Be prepared for a little bit of graft.
So that you've got a strong passion for the subject area.
You're interested in finding out how something works.
Have that appetite, that curiosity.
You know, somebody with an open mind that is keen, prepared to work hard, yeah, and take on new ideas.
A creative output or a creative outlook.
Committed to their studies.
Take the responsibility of your learning. It's your learning, it's your education. You need to take ownership of it.
We want that enthusiastic approach to everything that you do.
What you put in is what you get out.
But just have a dream that you're going to think big and you're going to get out in the world and enjoy it.
So that's there for everybody to look at. I'm going to take us back to the first page now, and we're going to have a walk through. Once you've looked at some of the subjects that are available, you come back, and the best way to actually find out what is available is to go to your school badge, and that's this section here. Find your school, explore and apply. And we're going to pick one school this evening. I think we're going to go to Dingwall, and we'll use that to demonstrate some of the things that are on offer and the wide range of courses. It's just an example. You would access this and go to your school and what's available through any of the three partners, the information, and it also links through to the separate college site. So I'm going to go to Dingwall Academy. At that point, because you can study courses at Inverness College and North Highland College, you could click to either one. I'm just going to go to Inverness to start with. And that brings you through to exactly what you can study at Inverness College, or if we've gone to North Highland, all the courses. They are in there under headings, so business and computing, care, health and well-being, construction, etc. I'm not going to spend too long on that, but if you were to click on any given course, and you'll note the range from progression awards through to degree modules. We have skills for work, we have foundation apprenticeships. We'll be talking about that a little bit later, and certainly tomorrow evening in our next event. A huge array of courses, a fantastic opportunity. And if you were to click through to one of those, for example, it would give you more information. You can apply from that page. You can see what level it is, duration and other course information. So that is all there for anybody to access and have a look at. Just going to go back, and I'll go back again. Louise, I think we'll go to possibly North Highland College. And I'm actually just looking for now the S6 experience pages, so bear with me. I will do it a different way. Okay, so for schools, Louise, do you want to have a little chat around S6 experience?
Yes, so when you are exploring the website and you look into your school badge, you're going to see two different badges that appear at the top of your school badge. One says S6 Experience, and these are special courses that we have specifically selected for people who are going into S6. Now, S6 students, as you know, will have a greater flexibility in their timetable. They'll often need sessions that need to be filled. So there are a number of courses there ranging from level 4 right to level 8. And Tim's going to talk a little bit about what that means in terms, when we say levels, what that actually relates to. But you can see there's a wide range of courses. Any course that's listed under the S6 experience badge can only be applied by students who are going into S6. They're designed to be studied anytime, anywhere. So you can use them to fill your timetable. You can use them to add greater flexibility into your learning week. The virtual school timetable, I perhaps hand over to Sophie here, because Sophie and Addy do primarily all the courses that run under the virtual schools timetable, but this links specifically with Highland Council school timetable. So maybe Sophie, if you want to jump in there and talk about a virtual school.
Yeah, thanks for that. So as Louise says, all of the courses that are listed under the virtual schools, it doesn't matter which college website you go into this, because the listing will be exactly the same. And it's all courses that are available and delivered through the Highland Council Virtual Schools timetable. So they're not courses that you would study on a Friday, and you would study them throughout different periods during the week. And right at the top of that page should be a copy of the Virtual Schools timetable linked.
Just looking for that, guys. Sorry,
it's on the North College one at the top. So yeah, it'll be somewhere on that page, and as I say, you can have a look at that and make sure that it fits in with your school's timetable. But effectively, it is it's just the opportunity to pick courses that wouldn't necessarily be available to you any other way but through the Virtual Schools timetable. And what we're trying to do with that and the S6 experience is just trying to grow the range of courses that are available to you.
Thanks for that. Brilliant, and thanks, Louise. So just to reiterate briefly, we have our Highland Senior Phase page. You can link through that to school badges. It's going to go back on here. Excuse my clicking back and forth, and you can pick up what's available at your school. I think that's the key message from here. The website and the link we will share later on in the videos we've watched lead you into what's available. You can be inspired by the staff and some of the videos and that growing collection of content. But then ultimately you can go to your school, you can click on your school badge and say, okay, that's fine, but what can I study? And there's a whole range of subjects in there that really enhance and grow the possibilities and access to curriculum for everybody in the PowerPoint, hopefully. And we will look then quickly at what are these SCQF levels. Hopefully this will work. Nods please if we have sound.
Within education, we're talking more and more about level of qualification. So if you look on the left side, 1 to 12 from bottom to top, access level 1, which we mentioned on the previous slide, through to 12, which is PhD. If you were to go up to 6, for example, you'd be familiar probably with Hires. That is a level 6. But at level 6, you could be studying Hires, you could be doing Skills for Work, you could be doing a national certificate, a progression award, a modern or foundation apprenticeship. So there's not just one route available. Those traditional routes through education are changing. And the good news is we all learn different. We've all got different courses available to us. Some more academic, some more vocational. However, they are into higher education in university or not, or into industry. It's acquiring that level, and that's what we talk about, and that's what's important.
And the message being that whatever course you study anywhere in Scotland, it will have a level. And what's important there is you have different courses at the same level. So some of those traditional routes through academia, and that's all labelled on those school pages, on the school badges. You'll be able to see what level of courses and how you can progress from that. I'm going to switch over now to my colleague Hecky, West Highland. He's going to do a short piece on the modes of learning that we have at HSP.
Thank you, Tim. Hi, everybody. My name's Hecky. I'm a lecturer at West Highland College. I teach on the Foundation Apprenticeship, Creative and Digital Media on the Virtual School timetable, and also full-time courses that you can progress onto after that. So I'm just going to briefly share some slides with you about the modes of delivery that we have at UHI. Okay, so first up we have fully face-to-face. This is where you attend timetable classes at college or your school for all your learning and assessments. Then we have fully online courses, and this is where you can access all of your learning and assessments via Brightspace or Google Classrooms using a mixture of self-directed study and online discussion boards. We also have blended learning, where you can attend timetable classes at college, your school, or online for some of your learning and assessments. And you can also access online Brightspace or Google Classrooms for self-directed study. And finally, virtual, where you attend timetable classes for all learning and assessments via Brightspace or Google Classrooms, and this is aligned to the Highland School Virtual Schools timetable. So one thing I quite often get asked by parents and students is in regards to some of the virtual and online methods of learning. And what I like to say is, this is the way that business works in this day and age: online video conferencing and video collaboration. So not only are you learning skills for each industry that you're interested in, you also learn transferable skills that will be useful for any career that you choose to do in the future. So that's it for me. Back to Tim.
Thanks for that, Heki. So we're going to move on to what your time at college would actually look like. What is that student experience? And I'm going to hand over, I think Louise, Addy and Sophie, you're going to tag team on this through a PowerPoint and share with everybody. Thanks.
There you go. I think it's worth probably mentioning a bit of jargon there. Brightspace, for all those who are not aware, is our virtual learning environment, a little bit like Google Classroom. It's UHI's version of Google Classroom, if you like. It's our virtual learning space. And that runs very much like we are doing today. There are live sessions with your teachers. There can be sometimes pre-recorded content. You can have written content up there, readings to do, with discussion boards to have. So it's quite an interactive space. So what I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about is what you might expect if you come to college and why you perhaps would choose that as an option. So I'm going to let Sophie come in and talk about some of the reasons why coming to college is a great idea.
Hi, thanks, Louise. Yeah, I think the first thing to say is that coming to college is different from school. So we very much work with young people who are almost taking that first step away from the school environment. So it's your opportunity to be slightly more responsible, I think was mentioned before, about your own studies, and yeah, to take ownership of your direction and what you're planning to do when you leave school. So a couple of reasons why you might want to look at a college course. All of the courses that we offer have got direct links to industry. So you would effectively be taking the first step towards a career at some point in the future. Now that might be by studying a course that means that you can leave school with a qualification and go straight into that employment area. It might be going into an apprenticeship once you leave school, or it might be using that qualifications to access college or university on a full-time basis. But either way, the links are very transparent between our courses and what you may want to do in the future. A lot of the courses, because of that, have got work placements or work experience as part of that, especially the foundation apprenticeships. So they give you the opportunity to study the theory around that subject area, but also to get involved in working in a practical sense within that area. With all of these options that you can take at college, quite often we find that young people don't have an idea of what they want to do after school, and that's cool. That's absolutely fine. If you are going to look at studying a course through the college, then what you're effectively doing is you're giving yourself an opportunity to try out some options before you leave school. So rather than leaving that decision making until after you finish 5th or 6th year and leave your formal education, you can effectively, if you start with the colleges in S4, you could have 3 different subject areas that you could try while you were still at school. And you might do something in S4 and say, yeah, that was really good fun, but guess what? I definitely don't want a job in that area, and that's okay. So the next year you might try something different, and along the way you might stumble across that one job that you really think is for you, which would be fantastic. All of the academic staff that work in the colleges are professionals in their own right. Many of them still work within the industry that they are going to be teaching you about. So, for example, you know, a lot of the lecturers in creative industries are still involved within the profession. So they are writers themselves, they are artists, they're musicians. A lot of the professionals, for example, in construction engineering have come from that field themselves. So they have a real flavour for what it is to work in that area, which they will tell you about as they go through the various areas of study with you. Also, as you've seen from some of the videos, the facilities that we have in the 3 colleges are excellent. A lot of them are industry standard because they have to be. So it's about not just learning the subject, it's about learning the subject with subject experts in an area, an environment that is fit for purpose for that industry. The only other thing I wanted to talk about just very briefly was the support staff. So we have in all of the colleges, we have teams of support staff that are there to assist young learners when they're in the colleges with us. So in the same way as you would get support within your school setting, then that support is available within the college. And settling young people into working in the college starts long before you actually come to college with us. It starts as soon as you put your application in. So we start to find out about you, find out about any support that you need at that stage, and make sure that everything is in place before you start studying with us. I'll hand back to Louise at this point.
Thanks, Sophie. I think, you know, we've talked about many of these points already, but just, you know, to really reiterate, we understand what a complex world this is now, especially post-COVID. We know that many of you at this stage don't know what you want to do. And like Sophie said, that's absolutely fine. Many of you have different ways of learning. Some of you really like studying, some of you would prefer to get your hands dirty, some of you like to learn in an active way, and that's absolutely fine. And that's why the levels, the SCQF levels, are really important, because all of our courses are designed to perhaps reflect different styles of learning, but they are all made equal in the SCQF levels. So regardless of what you're studying on, how you're studying it, it's the level that really makes the difference. So please do take that into account when you're looking at the course levels. Think about where you currently are, what you're currently studying. So if you're just coming out of National 4s, perhaps look at National 4 and National 5 level courses. If you're coming out of National 5s, perhaps level 5, level 6 courses, etc. So have a think about that. Don't forget how important it is to talk to people who take care of you, and also guidance teachers at school. They're a valuable resource for you in making that decision. Like Sophie said, it's a great new experience. Sometimes it can feel really daunting, but we know that you're getting older and you're dying for some new independence, and actually college is a really great step into taking that independence for yourself. It's a great way of travelling independently, coming to college on your own. Sometimes we have people travelling from all over the Highlands to come to our college settings, and perhaps we'll talk a little bit about travel in a moment. There is a great social life. Once you become, even if you're studying at school and you come to college in one of our college courses, you are a UHI student. So you're entitled to all those fabulous benefits that we have as students. You're allowed to use all of our facilities, our gyms, our salons. You're allowed to use our cafes and restaurants. You're allowed to take part in freshers events. It's part of that whole university experience. So you get to sample some of that while you're still at school. And I think that's a really great thing. I would say, number one, our students, when they first come to college, the thing that they're most frightened about is meeting people from other schools and how will they get on. I think that's the most terrifying prospect for most of our young people, and absolutely 100%. One of the things that we get told at the end of every course is that is their favourite thing about coming to study at college, that actually they've made friends with lots of people from lots of different schools, and they found that a really brilliant experience. When you come to college, everybody feels the same way. So everyone's just as anxious, a little bit nervous. But our lecturing staff are really aware of that. They've worked with young people for a long time, and they spend a lot of time getting you settled in, making sure you feel comfortable, helping you to get to know new people in your class. And as Sophie said, we spend a long time helping those people who would perhaps find that transition from school to college a little bit tricky. We spend a long time working with your guidance teachers and perhaps your parents and you yourselves to find out what you need and to make that a really great experience. So please don't let any of those things put you off. If you've had support in school, we can ensure you get support in college as well, and we can make sure that that support continues while you are learning with us and while you're in school. So talk to, like I say, talk to your guidance teachers, talk to the people who look after you, and if you need to get in touch with us just to alleviate any concerns, please do so. We're happy to chat through any scenario. If we just mention transport really quickly, I think that's probably something that our young people tend to ask lots of questions about. How will I get to college? am I expected to be there every week? As we've discussed before, it very much depends on which learning mode you are looking at. So if you're online learning, you'll be able to stay at home or in school to do your learning. If you've got blended delivery, you might have to come into college for a short period of time, and you do the rest of your learning online. And if you're doing face-to-face delivery, you'll come into college for that. Most of our college courses run on a Friday, and that's reflected in your college, your course option choice columns. You'll see that college option falls on a Friday for most courses. We have, as we said before, a really strong link with Highland Council, and our transport is funded through Highland Council for our college places, with the exception of Highers programs. So if you study on Highers or a degree module, you'd have to make your own way there. But again, we can deal with any anomalies or any concerns about travel. And we work very closely with the council and with yourselves to make sure you know what bus to catch and what time to arrive and where the bus will pick you up and drop you off, etc. So that there shouldn't be any concerns about that. We make sure that we deal with those before you come in. So I'm going to hand over to Addy now. I think he's going to talk through once you've made your column choices and you've selected college as an option and you've decided which course you want to study, how you go about getting on board with us.
Yeah, thanks, Louise. Yeah, so we've tried to keep this as simple as possible in terms of how you're able to apply for courses. So, and that is through your school badge, you know, once you've made the decision. So once you've informed yourself of the wide range of options that are available to you, because Highland Senior Phase is here to generate as many opportunities and as many forms of learning and choices of learning for you as school pupils across the Highlands. So it's a great resource for you all to get involved in. So whatever you choose or whatever you end up choosing, make sure it's for all the right reasons. I think that's really important. You know, get that guidance. You know, look at the information that's on the on our website on every course. You know, find out if the delivery, the timetable, make sure that works for you, and make that informed choice yourself by obviously by confiding in the people that are important to you, like say your guidance teachers in school, and also college staff are here and available, ready and waiting to take any inquiries or any queries you might have in terms of your future learning. It's important that you're doing it for the right reasons, as I say. You know, that might be, as has already been mentioned, you want to experience something for the first time. You think you might have an interest in it, and actually it's not a failure at the end of it to say, great, enjoyed that course, but that's not for me. It's about that informed choice and making that informed choice. But also equally, it could be part of you know, a very informed and something you already know that you really want to do, because you know that you're going to enjoy it. You know, you've got past experience and it is a progression for you. But also it's part of your future progression path. And lots of the options in there through your own school badge or through, as Louise has mentioned, the virtual badge, the S6 experience badge, the homeschool badge. There's lots and lots and lots of options in there for you. So it's important you make that choice and you make that informed choice. So once you get to the application point, okay, it's as I say, we've tried to keep that simple as possible. And applications are now open, and they have been for a few weeks, and they are open up until the 22nd of March. So on the 22nd of March, we will close down all courses, and those that have applied from up to that point will be prioritised in terms of decisions that go out. Decisions will go out the week commencing the 26th of April through that week to applicants and to schools in terms of if you've been successful or if you've not been successful. And they could be conditional in terms of future qualifications that you would be getting, or they might be unconditional. So there is no condition and you have been accepted straight onto that course. When you're doing your application form, it's really important that you sell yourself through there, because there will be competition for spaces on some of our courses, potentially all of our courses. So it's really important that you make the best of your application Sell yourself. Tell us why you should be on this course, because we want to know that. Also, you need to give your guidance teacher time to do their section of your application form, because when you're doing this online application and you submit it, you're actually submitting that form to your guidance teacher. Your guidance teacher's then got to turn that around in terms of their testimony about you, and we'll look for certain things in there in terms of how you performed in school, attendance, timekeeping, all those kind of things, all, you know, the employability skills that are important to your future. So you need to give them time to turn that around so that they are able to get that application form submitted on time for the 22nd of March. So thereafter, as I say, we will make decisions and get them out to you by the 26th of April or thereabouts that week. In between times, there will be, for courses, there will be interviews arranged where that's applicable. So, you know, we'll be getting in touch with you through your, probably at the moment, and under current conditions with COVID, it will be a virtual interview, but that might change, and that probably will change as we know, as the easing of restrictions with COVID coming along and in the future. So hopefully you'll see when you go on to do that, you'll see how easy it is actually. You know, it's not difficult. Just work through it section by section and get it done and get it in plenty of time. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple of pointers that we might want to add at this stage. Firstly, I know how much you like to use your mobile phones, but I would really advise against not using your phones to do the application. It's really easy to make grammar and spelling mistakes, and that doesn't really represent you in the best light. So my top tip really is to use a PC, use a laptop, use your Chromebook to do your application, write your personal statement, avoid, you know, the lol, smiley faces, all those sort of things you might want to do in text chat. Try to make that a really good written statement. Like Ali said, just really sell yourself. It may be that this year we don't get to do face-to-face interviews, and in that case, we will very much look at your personal statement, and that will be the thing that paints a picture about you. Another top tip I would have for you is, if you've had a tricky year with attendance and you've had personal issues, don't let that put you off applying. One of the reasons we ask for guidance teacher references is because we want to have a fuller picture of you. Numbers only tell us so much. So you might have a low percentage attendance, but there might be a really good reason for that. And we're very much about giving people a new start, a great opportunity. So please don't feel distracted by that. Don't let that put you off applying, but make sure that perhaps you have that conversation with your guidance teacher so that they can perhaps add that explanation in, so that we can really see what's been going on, and we can make a good informed decision about what you'd like to do and why you'd like to do it. I don't know if Sophie, you've got any top tips there or anything that we haven't added to that?
No, I think the only, and apologies, Addie, I got distracted by an email, which is interesting, but I was going to say your email accounts in your applications are really, really important, because so often we hear back from young people who say, I haven't heard from the college, when in fact they have, but it's gone to an email account that they don't access a lot. So certainly my top tip would be, please use your school email account, because you're much more likely to be accessing it, you know, for various communication from the school as well. So make sure that you don't miss any of the communications that come out from us about offers, about arrangements for starting your course, etc.
One thing I would say, you might get overly excited at this point and decide that you want to apply for lots of different courses. So the key thing to remember here is that you can't actually do that. So you do need to have a considered decision. Only one course option, please. You can't apply to several different colleges. You need to choose your closest delivering partner to you, so whichever college is closest to where you go to school, and you need to choose carefully your most preferred course choice, please. we do check in with each other, and anyone who's done several applications, we do end up calling you or calling school to find out which course it is that you really want to do. So that would really help us out, so we don't have to go through that process if you can just make sure you apply for just one course. There are some exceptions to that, so if you want to do perhaps a Friday course and a degree module or something during the week, we can have a separate conversation with guidance teachers about that. So like we've said several times, check in with your guidance teacher. They can keep you straight and make sure that you're not applying unnecessarily to the courses that you perhaps won't get on.
Fantastic. Thanks then to Louise, Addy and Sophie for your input on that. I'm just doing a really quick recap at this point, just to say you can use the web page. The link will be going in, if it's not already gone, in the YouTube chat, to look at this wide range of possibilities and opportunities on offer. When you do that, you can drill down, you can look at course information, SCQF levels, and see what's applicable to you. You can find out more, inform yourselves, and then as we just heard, there's an application process and the website. You can link through that, through the school badges, to apply, and you work through that. Your guidance teachers and also parents and other people at home can help advise on that. And it's really important to be informed about it. I think that's one of the key messages. And then over and above that, and Louise covered this really well, is that coming to college is a fantastic experience. It's not just academics. It's not just the courses that you study. It's bigger than that. It's being part of something bigger. It's a social scene. And it's a step. It's a step forward, whether you want to go into career or industry. And leading on from that, just one thing. If you've got any questions, we will be doing a Q&A session in just a few minutes' time. So please do fire those in to YouTube if you've got any questions. We'll cover some of the frequently asked questions anyway. But if there's anything specific and you feel like you want to fire that in, please do, and we'll address that. I'm just going to do a short piece from Kathleen Moran now. I'm going to share a PowerPoint that she couldn't be with us this evening, but has sent this in. So cross fingers, tech is on our side.
Could I just come in with a couple of questions that are relevant to what we've just talked about? We've had a question come in just asking, are college courses always on a Friday?
I'll come in there, Audrey. That's a good question. So, so Louise and Sophie talked about, I think at North Highland Inverness, the vocational pathways, skills for work courses, attendance at college and such like, is on a Friday. For West Highland, that is on a Wednesday. So it does vary. But the point I was trying to make in terms of application, on the when they go in to choose your course, all that information is on the course information page. So you'll be able to find out, the timetabling of any courses, what day, what times courses are available and where they're available, just to make sure it suits individual.
That's great, Addy.
It varies.
I've got another question just that's kind of relevant. Do I have to tell my school about wanting to study through the HSP?
Yes, they do, because as we said, that there needs to be a school reference that will come in from that. So any applications that come in must be accompanied by that reference from their guidance teacher. In fact, the form is submitted by their guidance teacher, because when the pupil submits it, they're submitting it to their guidance teacher for that personal statement from the guidance teacher to go on, and then the guidance teacher sends it on to our admissions teams at the relevant college.
Okay, and just one more surrounding that is, will I be with my friends from school?
I think that's a good question, and I think that can be, well, yes, you could be, but don't pick a course because you just want to be with your friends. Pick it for all the right reasons. As I tried to say, when you're applying for a course, make sure you're picking the course for the right reasons, because it's part of your future progression, because you've got an interest in the subject. Because if you don't, and it's not for a good reason, you won't last very long on it, because you'll get bored with it. And you've got to have an interest, so you've got to give it a go. You've got to be prepared to give it a go. So you may well be, but don't pick a course because you know your friends are going on it. Pick it for all the right reasons.
That's great, thanks.
I think all of us as college, we do try and synchronise our social times, like break and lunch time. So even if you're not on the course with your best friend or your mates from school, you will be able to meet up with them through the day. So there won't be a no contact rule. You will be able to see people, providing that COVID COVID restrictions are lifted, you know, you will be able to see people, you'll be able to hang out, be able to have lunch together. So there will be opportunities to see people who you're familiar with. So even if you're not on the right course, you'll still see your friends.
Hi there, Audrey. I think I've just spotted one coming in, possibly. Are all school, just to clarify, a lot of the courses are on certain days, but are they also through the school week and on school timetable? That was one of the questions coming in.
Yeah, they are, absolutely. So we talked about the virtual, you know, Heki gave a description of the different modes of delivery. So, for example, anything that's in the virtual school, virtual badge is part of the virtual school timetable. So that is very much a column choice that you pick in school, and it's delivered through the week, in periods through the week. It could be on a Friday or a Wednesday into any of our college centres, or it could be at other points throughout the week in delivery that we have in school as well. So it's wide and varied. As I say, go to the course, click on the course that you're interested in, bring up the information page, and all that information is there, and make sure that you know that you're able to commit to that.
If I can maybe come in there as well, Addy. So any of the courses that are fully online, so for example, some of the degree modules where there is no set synchronous time, no sort of exact time that you need to be somewhere, you can fit that in. So if you've got a free column in your timetable for next year, then potentially your school will agree to you studying that subject within that column. There are a small number of courses as well that have delivery as twilight, so out with the school time. And again, that's a conversation, if you're interested in them, that's a conversation we would have with the schools to make sure that they're comfortable for you to make that choice.
Do we need to maybe talk about the benefits of doing a degree module at school? I think that's perhaps an interesting option. Perhaps
I think if we maybe come back to that, Louise,
yeah,
possibly if because we're going to do a short Q&A session. I know we've stepped onto that, and we've had some interesting questions and good answers there. So thanks for that. I'm just going to take us back to PowerPoint now briefly. Whilst we've talked about Highland Senior Phase and the wide range of courses that you can study, it's also important to think about the next steps, because beyond those studies at school, and if you come and choose to study with us also at college at the same time, what might happen next? So I'm going to share a PowerPoint from Kathleen, if it will just come up now, and she's going to talk us through a little bit of that. There's quite a lot of detail in this, but it's only a few minutes long. I'm just going to check that I've got the right sharing mode. Bear with me, sorry folks. I don't want to have silent video again. Okay, that's great.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Moran, and I'm the Schools Recruitment Officer for the University of the Highlands and Islands. And I'm here to talk about the progression opportunities for pupils studying on the Highland Senior Phase programme. At the university, pupils can progress onto a wide range of courses, and a lot of our courses take advantage of our region's unique environment, landscape and culture. We offer a full range of courses from access level to PhD, and pupils can choose from courses in humanities and social sciences, creative industries, Gaelic medium studies, education and childcare.
Sorry. Sorry folks, I think we may have got an audio problem there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into that second or third slide there, and we'll rejoin Kathleen. Apologies. Okay, I think we're having a few technical difficulties there. So I will just I'm just going to go and look at that, and I'm just going to finish off what Kathleen was going to do there. So she's talking about the HE possibilities that go over and above. I'm going to try and rejoin just one last time to her next slide. Just bear with me, because it is good stuff, and it's important if we can try to share it. Bear with me. Okay, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of a tech problem on the sound, I believe. But what Kathleen's covering is the fact that from the Highland Senior Phase and your studies at school, that we have a large outfit and a huge partnership of 13 colleges across UHI. From the collaboration between North Highland, Inverness and West, your next steps could be into further education with UHI for degree courses, HNCs, etc. But it would also prepare you potentially for industry. For those people doing vocational courses, still maybe at a high SCQF level, are then prepared to go into industry or into careers, or you may choose to carry on into higher education and degree with UHI, or indeed elsewhere. But there are a lot of opportunities. Like we've said, we work from access right through to PhD at UHI, so that's fairly unique, and you can stay with us and you can do higher education as well. Tomorrow evening we're going to be looking at foundation apprenticeships from 7 o'clock, and another interesting way is into career and into industry is actually going into modern apprenticeships. And that sort of situation is where you can earn and learn, as they say, where you work in industry and you also study with UHI. So in a nutshell, moving on from Highland Senior Phase, there are a lot of opportunities either in education, at universities, within industry, on apprenticeships and into careers. And that really is about keeping your doors open and your options open. And it really is a great opportunity to have that wide education that prepares you to go into any of those industries. I think we're going to come back to Q&A now. I don't know if we've got any coming through. Audrey, can I just over to you?
I've got some questions that have been submitted to us prior to this. One of them, which probably will be quite useful to maybe all the colleges, is how will I find my way around? If they're coming in for the first time, how will they know where to go?
So if I maybe go first, Audrey, and then Louise and Addy can add on to that. So what we do when the pupils come in for the first time is we have a team of staff who make themselves available, and they literally will meet all of the pupils when they come in the door at main reception and collect them by their courses in various areas round about the reception area. And then once the sort of main group for your course has arrived, then we will take you to the teaching members of staff within that area. So it's not a case of coming into a big building for the first time and having to find yourself down to the commercial kitchens or to the hair and beauty salons or to the construction wing. There will be staff that will literally walk with you the whole way until we give you over to your lecturing staff. And then one of the first things that you'll do as part of your induction into college is get full college tours. So you'll get shown not only the academic areas and the study areas, but also all of the wraparound that Louise beautifully described in the way of the canteens and the social areas, etc., so that you can arrange where you're going to meet up your friends and all the important bits.
Yeah, I think in normal circumstances, we typically hold what we call transition or taster events earlier in the year. So normally we would, around this time of year, be inviting you into college to have a look round and a walk round. Sadly, we can't do this right now, but we will keep an eye on that as the months go on to see whether that's a possibility before you finish for the summer. But we'll make sure that you are not wandering around, that you don't get lost. Like Sophie said, we have people with big signs that come and collect you and take you to your class. And then our lecturers are very good at making sure that you have buddies to go to lunch with and make sure that they come and find you and bring you back again on the first couple of weeks if you need it, until you feel like you don't need it anymore. So yeah, please don't think that that should be a big barrier. The buildings look quite intimidating. It's a little bit when you started high school, it looked really scary, but now that you're coming into senior phase, it's not a big scary place after all, and you know your way around really easily. And college is very much like that. It looks quite big and intimidating, but actually within a week or two, you'll know your way around. You'll know where all the best places to sit and eat are. You'll know which canteen, you know which food is the best food to eat. You'll know where to meet up with your friends, and maybe where to go for a walk at lunchtime. So it won't take very long for that to happen.
Yeah, exactly the same at West Highland as well. You know, as Louise and Sophie have said, you know, it'll be through a full and comprehensive induction process. And you know, our staff, the staff are great. Staff are really nice. You know, they're welcoming and they're supportive. So have no fear about coming into any of our college centres.
That's great, thanks very much. We've just got another question that's just come in tonight. Are there going to be one-day taster sessions to try out courses this year, as we've done in previous years? Louise, I know you've just touched on that, so I don't know if you want to kick off.
I think we would love that. I think we're all desperate to have pupils in college. We're desperate to see you. We're desperate to hang out with you and to meet you. We are very much bound by the COVID rules, just as everyone else is. So we're currently waiting on government guidelines to say whether when we can have pupils in, when it's safe to do so. And I think we very much have to be led by the guidelines from the Scottish Government. As soon as we get the green light to have pupils in, we will do. It's looking like we might have to do most of our activity at the beginning of next academic year, which will be August. But we will do everything we can to make sure that you are settled and happy and feeling okay about coming to college before you actually start learning.
Adi, Sophie, are you very much the same?
Absolutely, exactly the same. Yeah.
That's great. And that just probably leads on to one of the other questions that's being asked, is that what about COVID? Will we be able to go back to college?
If I maybe come in first and just endorse what Louise said, we would love to have you in the building. For that very small window that we had before Christmas when we had pupils in the building, it was so good. It was so good to see everyone. And to see everyone so enthusiastic about being back and studying in a practical sense. Unfortunately, that's not the case at the moment, but we literally monitor. We had a meeting this afternoon, the three of us with Highland Council, looking at, you know, where we are with our current pupils and getting their studies completed. And, you know, as soon as the Scottish Government permits us to have pupils back in the buildings, then we will.
Great. Louise, have you got anything to add?
I think it's really key to say that, you know, we are just as desperate as you are to get you in the building. We know that actually you being in the college and doing hands-on practical activity is absolutely the best thing for you. What I would say is we've had a lot of practice at online learning. Our teachers and our setup is such that we can adapt our practice. We have been doing online learning for a long time. If you think about the geographical nature of the Highlands and our 13 partners, we've been communicating like that for a long time between ourselves. So it's not something new for us. We hadn't been thrown into it very much like some other institutions may have had. Some of our college courses, the school pupils, that was quite new for us, but I think our lecturers are quite used to doing online delivery, so adapted to that quite quickly. So one of the things that we have been very cautious about next year, knowing about the kind of difficulty that we've had this year, is that we've made sure that all of our courses next year can be delivered, even if we have some restrictions in place. So some of them may start online and go to face-to-face delivery, and we can adapt to make sure that courses can run. So please don't feel that, you know, you're going to get to the August and there might be restrictions and then that might mess everything up. We've tried our very hardest to make sure that your college, your guidance teachers are aware of which courses need face-to-face content, but most of our courses are, we've tried to COVID-proof them, if you like, so that whatever happens, we can get you learning in August.
I think it's important and worth saying as well that actually the vast majority of courses that we have on offer across the partnership to the Highland Senior Phase delivery this year, a lot of them are running uninterrupted at the moment. You know, in terms of, you look at anything in the virtual school platform, all of that's running uninterrupted delivery, and that includes the work in most of the courses with a work-based element to that, because we found innovative ways of being able to do that through different models of delivery that can be done virtually online, that type of thing. So a lot of our activity is still happening. You know, there are those very practical courses that have been affected, and we recognise that. But as Louise and Sophie said, we can't wait to get you back in to get those completed, and then for next year, you know, hopefully things will have eased and moved on in terms of the COVID situation, and for practical courses we'll be back to a really good position to deliver them through the year.
Thanks, everyone. Just to finish off, I think we'll just go back. Louise mentioned about the degree modules, and perhaps, you know, if there is any more questions, just if you can pop them into the chat. If we can't get back to you, we will maybe add them onto the HSP webpage along with some from tomorrow night, and we'll make sure that everything's covered. But maybe if we could just maybe finish off by talking about the benefits of doing the degree module.
Yeah, I think that would be really good to have some kind of thoughts from Sophie and Addy about why someone would choose to do a degree module while they're still at school. It sounds like a little bit of an odd choice to make when you're studying. Maybe you're doing your hires, advanced hires. Why would you choose to do a degree module? Sophie, what would you say to people who are not quite sure?
So I go back to what I said previously about any of the subjects. It's exactly the same. It just happens to be at SCQF level 7. So we have worked hard to increase the number of degree modules that are available to senior phase pupils, because yet again, we believe it's an opportunity while you're still at school to try a subject that you might be considering studying at university, but also to try studying at that level when you have not only the academic lecture supporting your learning, but you also have a personal academic tutor, which is a UHI, almost like a sort of guidance teacher. And you've also got the support of your school while you're doing that. So it's a really supportive environment to step into studying at that academic level. There are a growing number of young people in S6 who are taking degree modules and studying in single modules, or in some cases a module in semester 1 and then in semester 2. And what's been lovely this year is getting communication back from these pupils who are then wanting to apply to do that degree programme full-time with the UHI when they leave school in June time. Just one thing to say on that, because I think it is really important, is funding as a degree student is absolutely crucial. And if you study a degree module when you're in 6th year, it does not affect your full-time status the following year. So you would still be studying enough credits to apply for full-time funding for your first year of your degree studies. So I think that's really important, because funding is quite a fundamental topic for a lot of people and parents.
And it looks great. Let's face it, when you're applying to university and you can say you've already studied at degree level, that is a really great thing to be able to put on a personal statement, that you've already managed that, you've learned independently, you've managed online study, remote learning, and you've already had a taster of subjects. Even if it's not the subject you're going to go on to study at degree, it demonstrates a level of capability that our universities are really impressed by.
Yes.
So
it's what I was going to say there, Louise, was that, and actually, you know, it can make the difference to you getting a place in your preferred or a university, or wherever your destination is, in terms of maybe into employment as well. It can make the difference. It makes your CV, it makes you stand out. It's, you know, it could be a reason you stand out from everybody else. So, you know, it's a really good option.
Thanks very much, everyone. I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're just a little bit over time. So firstly, thanks to everybody that's joined us on YouTube this evening, and also a big thank you to all my colleagues and presenters this evening. I'll just try one last share and cross fingers for a little bit of finishing information there for you. The key link is basically, if you visit the HSP webpage, and we're going to put a link in the chat if we can action that, please. then you can access all these other things. The web address is also on the bottom of the page there. So that is your access point to all things. We will have recorded this session and it'll be available on playback, and that will be on YouTube. Again, you'll be able to access that. We will have a link on our HSP webpage soon. So anybody that's missed it, or if you want to share it, you will be able to go and watch it again through playback, pick out what's important to you. Next up is tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Again, the link is on the web page. We're going to be discussing the Highland Senior Phase, but specifically foundation apprenticeships, which are a fantastic opportunity. And you'll be able to hear more about that tomorrow evening if you would like to join us. In terms of contacting us with any questions that haven't been answered, then you again go through the website. You can link through to specific colleges or your local college, and in there you will find contact us information. Please do get in contact if you need anything. We're there to answer your questions, and we're keen to support you on that learner journey. So I think we'll wrap up at that. Again, thank you to my colleagues and presenters, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been informative, and we hope to see you at Highland Senior Phase in the near future. Thank you and good evening.